Okay, this is our engineering notebook that we're going to work through. So what we have is I've broken it up into different parts, and we're going to start with the first part, which is the challenge. And in red I've got some suggestions on how to help you meet the rubric. Now the part from the rubric that the challenge represents is this section here in bold. You have to describe it and state your goals towards accomplishing that challenge. So essentially, and you'll see down here, I'll put some of the comments about what you need to do. So start off with describing what's going to happen. You have to go through, you have to fully understand every aspect of the game, whether it's the rules, the scoring, the construction requirements, and so on and so forth. So at this stage, what are you going to do? You have to start looking at breaking down the game. Are you going to pick up 1 cube, 2 cubes, 3 cubes? Are you going to stack them really quickly? Are you going to focus on moving them all down the other end? These are the decisions you have to make here. Next section is brainstorming, where you're going to create an extensive list of all the possible approaches to the challenge. So yes, you could build the Uber bot that's going to stack all the cubes and sort them based on color and then put them on the cube, but what we're doing is you can brainstorm these things. You don't necessarily have to write them all up. You don't have to build them, you just have to provide descriptions and maybe a sketch. You can upload them using a photo, or you can use research from the internet to find photos as well. Step 3, you've got to select an option. You have to pick what you're going to select and why. So in this case, I've given you the starting robot, the claw bot, but there are other things you can do, and you have to look at whether you have time to do that, and if time is the main concern you have, go for it. Or you just are worried that Clawbot isn't going to be good enough and you've got time, you can have a go at designing something else. Here's the rubric section for this bit, which is an efficient use of time and overall project timeline. So you're going to use little checkpoints. So our checkpoint this morning was to have the Clawbot finished, and some teams got made that checkpoint, other teams needed a little bit more time. Once we have enough teams ready, they talk about a Gantt chart. If you haven't seen one of those, you can find one in the comments, and more detail is better. Okay, remember this is for full credit. If you want full marks, you need to show checkpoints, you need to show how you're staying on schedule. This is where stuff gets a little bit crazy. Records the building and programming process in such detail that someone else could recreate the robot using the steps in the notebook, and has a detailed process that you could recreate using what you write down. So it's hard. This bit is hard. It is really hard to write down all the things that you do in such detail that someone else could follow. But one way to do this is to do a daily entry. So literally today's date, what are the goals? Today we're going to finish the Clawbot. We need to finish the claw today. So take pictures of what you did and be descriptive. Instead of drive practice, we had drive practice today and we can now score 20 points in 1 minute. That would be awesome to write down. If you can add videos, do it. Make note of the goals not completed so that you can carry them over for the next meetings, for the next lesson. Record matches and results, review them and provide feedback to your team. So if you're not able to come in, you can have a look on the drive and hopefully we get some matches up that you can review and provide feedback to your team. Test and redesign. So what you're doing here is you're writing down all the things you've had to fix, everything that you've had to change. You really want to describe in great detail the process. We had a problem with the left side of the drivetrain. We started with pulling the cables out and swapping the cables. That didn't work, so we swapped the motor. That happened to work. We've tagged that motor out so that we know that motor is no longer working. Caches the key results. So you want to capture your specific results. What happens to your robot? Okay, I can get, in a 1 minute period I can do 20 points, or in a 1 minute period I can do 5 or 6 trips back and forth. This one here is also aiming to help you with that last section of the rubric, which is your performance. So you want to write down what happened in every single event that you're in. So we're going to do several events over a couple of days, so we want to post-mortem. We want to say this bit was an epic fail, this bit worked wonderfully, and what you're going to do about it between now and your next competition. That should get you started, gents. Have a good day.